Hello, welcome back, day 20. Our prompt for today is Kintsugi. It's a Japanese word that you may have seen mentioned in some magazines, and it's a practice of repairing specifically like crockery and things that broke with gold, liquid gold, and thereby the brokenness of the vessel becomes part of its beauty. And with that, we are dealing with letting go of perfection and embracing imperfection and being kinder to ourselves, especially when we create. And to that extent, we're dealing with Frankenpaper. It's not something that I came up with. I saw it at Nick the Booksmith, but there are a number of YouTube users making some really interesting things. In effect, it's all your scraps made into something new. I've sewn. I'm a terrible seamstress with the sewing machine. Also, my sewing machine, something with the tension was wrong and I don't have enough knowledge to fix it. But it's okay. And once I started, I really liked it. So you can do it with double-sided paper, which means you end up with a back that you can use. I literally just use scraps, things I received in swaps, leftovers from projects and things. This is a slightly brighter one. This one is a very sort of neutral, romantic. I used some of the foiled pieces to add some interest, and I kept all of my long things. It's in a contrasting thread, and now you can cut bits of this out. You can use it as a background page. I did another one, very bright, which I love, with the little birds and things. And this is all it's just things which by themselves wouldn't have been much, but as a whole they become quite interesting. This one's krom and skeef, nice and skew. I didn't glue any of these. I just ran them through the machine while holding them with my limited skill set. So if I can do it, definitely you can do it. You can also just glue your papers as a Frankenpiece, and you don't need to sew them, or you can do some slow stitching on them. So this is a really nice way of, it's an alternative form of collage, I think. And for me, it really dwindled my scrap box, which I liked. I'm going to do one on camera just to show you. I mean, I'm not an expert. It's something that I literally did for the first time when I prepared for this video. But I can see myself doing a lot more because it does force you to not be too precious. This is a very thin scrapbook paper, and it's very neutral with Christmassy things. I think it's an Anna Griffin, yes. So I'm going to use this as my template and put my scraps on here. So I'll end up with a 12 by 12 that's double-sided. I am working on a magazine insert because it's all sorts of bits and pieces. I'm going to use various glues. I'm going to use some podge to stick down. I'm going to use the ones I sewed, I just used glue stick so that it wasn't too hectic for the needle and things. And then I've got a whole lot of these are more pastel-y Christmas, which I haven't used this season, but I've got them lying around. So I'm going to see what I can do. A lot of them are offcuts. I think this was from a Kaiser Craft range, these pinky turquoisey ones. So let's see. Some wallpaper. There's a vintage Christmas card. And so it's pick it up, make a choice, stick it down. You cannot be overthinking this. This is also an exercise for all of us. Because when we create, we often create for social media or to show to people, and then it needs to be perfect, and we dither, and we doubt ourselves, so this is not the intent. I will add some images of the Japanese, of the Kintsugi fixed items as stills, and then you can get an idea of letting imperfections be part of the whole thing. There's also something that you can make, like a mood board type thing, that, or a master board it's called, that you can copy. So a lot of people make it with real vintage items and things. They scan it, they copy it, and they print it, so they use it again and again. So your little Frankenpapers can be something like that too. It'll just be less textured, because obviously if you do sew it and you copy and scan it, you won't see it. Do you see that I'm actually not even reworking it? There's a gap there which I'm going to have to deal with. And then you can overlap where your pieces touch, like I did here, or you can just leave it flat if you want a flatter arrangement. But if you want a more step-by-step guide, I suggest watching some of the videos of some of the people that I mentioned. These little Frankenpapers on a much smaller scale, like postcard size and things, make nice journaling cards, and they make nice tags. If you don't use big pieces like this or pieces with words, you can cut them any which way and you end up with quite an interesting item. This was part of a swap and it's already got a bit of a slow stitching, so I'll just... so you can also slow stitch items before you glue them down, which is maybe easier than stitching through numerous layers. So this is done, and then the back is plain. I'm now just going to cut off wherever I went over, and then we can do some techniques on the page. This one now looks definitely different than the Farmhouse Christmas because of the pinks. It's purely the scraps that I had. Something like this would be far more suitable. So try something that matches your project, and also at any scale. If you can only fill a 15 by 15, then try it. If you've got lots of small ones, I found the bigger ones easier, and then I stitched wherever there was a straight line. The only thing is, if you are stitching here, for example, the bed of your machine can only take so much, so then you need to just keep that in mind. You can flip it over, but if you made an A3, for example, I think by the middle you'd struggle to... It sort of bends up once you're stitching, but just keep that in mind. I am now in the style of Kintsugi. Going to take my very messy gold pen, and I'm going to run some gold lines over the joins because of the theme. You can also do it with gold leaf. You can do it with gold ink stamping. My very oozy gold is empty, so I used this one. It's okay, but I preferred the oozy one. Looks more like liquid gold. The other one just looks like a gold marker. So I've highlighted purposefully the imperfections on this page. If you want to make your Franken page a bit more cohesive, I suggest stenciling over it in a color that's not too obtrusive. So I'm just doing a pink, and not even everywhere, just so that some of the colors and the designs go across. I don't even know if the camera will pick that up, but the little dots are all pink, and they basically go across the page now. So the eye gets tricked very, very easily. So that is Frankenpaged, unstitched, and double-sided by just using one sheet of double-sided paper. Oh, my hands are full of ink now. Or you can use double-sided paper to start off with to make your Franken page. Or you can use just scrappy scraps, in which case you end up with a back that's not usable, but you've got a full background page. And like this one's got far less stuff, like any bit that you cut out to use with each other will make an interesting thing. So you don't need to, like a bit of this with that will make a nice tag, or that plus that will make a bookmark. So you can just slice and dice into this thing. Same with this one. These are all stitched. And this one also, you can cut quite a lot out of it before you start interfering. Like that's a really nice tag. So try and be more forgiving. I'm going to use this one as my page for today because the colors go really well. And this is quite a nice, it's also these tiny words, but I mean, our family is a patchwork of memories. That's actually such a nice sentiment to go with a page like this. You do get stamps, perfection is overrated, let go of perfection. And I think that's all we need for today. Tomorrow is day 21. Our prompt is laugh. I think we can all do with a bit of laughter, a bit of fun. And we are using and discussing ephemera. It's such a big word, and when I started junk journaling, everyone was like ephemera this and ephemera that, and then some people call ephemera something and others don't. So we're having a rough discussion on that, and focusing on something happy for laugh. See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.